Hey guys, Kev here, and I'm gonna do a disassembly and first impressions of the James brand Barnes. This is the Integral, very cool knife. I plan on comparing this to the Isotope once I get my new Isotope in. It's a very cool knife. I'm liking it a lot so far. I will say right off the bat, it's probably not going to stick around long term. And that's more so because of me than the knife. I'm just not the biggest thumb stud fan. This knife is incredible, to be honest. I've mentioned on Instagram and here on YouTube that it pains me a little bit to say so, because I don't agree with everything James brand does. I think I was a little harsh in my unboxing, so I'll take back a little bit of that. I mean, any company can do what they want in terms of marketing and stuff like that, but I just haven't been a huge fan of their way of going about it. That's all. So I may have taken that a little far, but I was inspired. But doesn't matter, because this is a really good knife they made here. Now, I am testing out a new desktop kind of tripod thingy. It's like an arm that hangs over, and in classic lefty EDC fashion, something didn't work out properly. The clamp has a certain size, and of course my desk, it's like this big instead of this big. So now I'm trying to get it all rigged up. I think I got it, but any movement to this side, I'm going to end up hitting something. So we'll see how it goes. I do like this a little better because you guys get a little bit of an angle. I don't have a camera. Like, usually the camera was like right here. Like, it's hard for you to see that, but it was a good 6 inches or 8 inches under where it is now. So I think I like this a lot better. I can hold it up, show you things. It's right up close to me now, so I have a better idea of what you're looking at, what I'm looking at. Just to give you a bit of an idea, I will zoom out so you can see me at the desk. Then I'll zoom in. That's where we're at. Perfect for this mat. Shout out to Lancelot Leather. And then I could do another zoom in. Of course, there's more options than that, but that's the easy way to do it. And now I can show you stuff down at the table and not have to hold it up. Or I can show you things more up close. Pretty cool. I don't know why I never invested in one of these. I just was rigging it with a tripod laid across this top desk. I don't know if you can see it, but there's right here, there's another layer to this desk. So it has another glass panel, and then it has 2 monitors on it. And I was laying a tripod down vertically and then just having the camera sit here, and it was being held down by the monitors, like pinning it down. It was pretty ghetto. But I mainly record off a tripod doing the face cam thing, so it didn't seem so pertinent. All right, let's get into this. Yeah, this is kind of nice because now I can work right here. I don't have to... All right, spinning pivot. Interesting. Guess I saw that coming. T8s, all right. Want to be really careful here, guys, because technically I've already committed this knife. Is that a T6? What? Guys, that's a T6? Is that even tooling? Yes, it is. Okay, hang on. Interesting situation here, guys. Seems we have a T6 on this side of the pivot. Yeah, what? But I don't want this side to come out. Right? I mean, I want this side to come out. Interesting stuff. It's just spinning in there. I don't think I could push it through because how could you push it through, right? Well, no, because it has that piece around it. And I may give it a little push, but I'm not going to go very far with this if I can't. Yeah, that's not going anywhere. That's interesting, guys. So a T6 on this side. So let me try to see if I can get it to come out the other side. As I was saying, I've already committed this knife to my buddy Joe, the Knife Whisperer, because as I said, I'm not a thumb stud guy. This knife is really cool, guys, and I'm still going to do the comparison with the isotope and everything. I know that ultimately this isn't going to be for me. So, and he really wants one. Looks like it's just pushing. Yeah, it's just pushing this screw out. So, in an attempt to not ruin this knife, you know, I'm just going to leave it alone. I know that sucks because some people probably really want to see the disassembly, but if it's going to require some crazy effort, I just don't want to mess with it if I know ultimately it's not going to be mine anymore. Centering's dead nuts. Let me just... So there you go. I tightened it a little bit, obviously. So let's see. So this is the actual pivot screw, it seems. Centering is... Now it looks off, so hang on. Okay, maybe it was always there. No play. Centering looks good. No blade play. So maybe if nothing else, I can improve the action, you know? No play at all. Yeah, that's really good. So here's what I'm going to do. Just because it is a spinning pivot situation here, I'm going to go ahead and put a little Loctite in here. Make sure it doesn't go anywhere. We'll get it dialed into where we want, and then we'll leave it alone. How about that? So, interesting turn of events. So this will not be listed as a disassembly video. I'll just go ahead and call it the first impressions, and that's fair. I mean, it's fine. It's an integral. Sometimes you got to be careful with integrals. I don't know. I get it. They don't want people to easily get into it, or maybe there's just too much Loctite on one side. It might bother me in the long run if I kept this knife to have something I can't like take apart real easy. But I know for a fact that Joe is not going to care at all. He actually would probably never take it apart, I think. So, not too worried about that. I think most people would feel that way with an integral. And if you had to, I'm sure you could. I just don't want to... I don't want to do all the effort for that just to find out I can't or whatever. So, here we go. If nothing else, the action is now basically smooth control close. I mean, look at that. So, wow. Okay, yeah, we got it tuned perfectly. Absolutely no blade play. So, cool. Centered, nuts. All right, so I'm going to put this away, and we can discuss. All right, so my findings so far are that this knife is put together extremely well. You can see the intricate micro milling here on the scales. I mean, look at that. It's absolutely stunning. This is where the lanyard went through. I took that out. You can reattach it. I did. I just unknotted it. I didn't cut it or anything, so it can be reattached. You have more micro milling on this side. Look at that clip. Absolutely stunning clip with very good retention, very good in and out of the pocket. I have found it a joy to carry. Carried it the last couple days. You have that cool pivot. And the way this works is, should work anyway, is this screw comes out. Then this little pivot cover comes off. And then under there is going to be a steel washer against a bearing. That bearing against the blade. And then another bearing on the other side against the steel washer, which is going to be against this scale or this side. And then there's also going to be a stop pin that's like right about here. And that just goes right through there and into the other scale. They milled a little hole on this side for it to seat into. And you could just either kind of shake it out or take a magnet and pop it out. Just like the Isotope, honestly. And then because it's an integral, they can't put the detemp ball in the same way. So, sorry, lock bar. So they use it as this whole piece right here is the insert. It is the steel insert and the detemp ball is in there. And that's how they get the detemp ball in there. You can see it kind of right there, which is pretty cool. And that's how that all works. Here's your lockup. Very good. And then when it's open, you have this drop point. Again, I'm not the biggest fan of the blade shape. It kind of looks like a lizard or a frog. I've said this before. I always compare blades and knives to animals. And this looks like a frog or a lizard or something. I don't know. That's just kind of how I see it. It's cool looking. Not my favorite. I will compare it to some of my favorites here. Here is the CKF Evo 2.0. Oh my goodness. Look at the edge Neves put on there. Jared killed it. Stunning piece in my opinion. Here is a size comparison. Very similar. 3.5-inch blade. I guess 8 inches total overall, something like that. Again, the Something Obscene Company J-Cape, another absolute stunner of a piece. These are all Riot made, by the way. Another 3.5-inch blade, 8 inches overall. So that's kind of why I'm putting those out there, so you can see them all in a row. I think this one's a little longer. This is a loaner I just finished the review on. CKF Chimera. Same kind of deal as the Evo. Bark pattern with CF. This one, yep, that one's going to be bigger. It's about a 4-inch blade, looks like. So there's that. Trying to think. The only other thing that, well, I guess just because I'm whipping out the big boys. Oh, yeah. Slam Midi, baby. Slam Midi. Guys, these are all the same size. It's incredible. Maybe I have a thing for this size. 3.5-inch blade, right? What I was going to grab right out the bat was the bug out. Let me just do that for you, so you guys can see it next to a knife most people will own if they're in the hobby. There you go. So just a little bit shorter on this end and this end. You know, the bug out's 3.25 inches, I'd say, on the blade length or cutting edge, I guess. And yeah, so hope that helps a little bit. Wasn't trying to really flex there, but fuck it, might as well. Absolutely love these knives, guys. Ugh, so good. Riot just is so good. And that is no exception here. And that's kind of the point I'm trying to get across. This knife is in that category, guys. The Evo 2.0 was $630 new. This is retail for $600. You can use a coupon, welcome 10, and get 10% off. I paid $550 for this, delivered to my door. I paid $550. So it might be a little less if you don't get the 2-day shipping or whatever, but for all intents and purposes, $550. So I don't think that's bad. I mean, and again, I don't want to overkill this because I'm going to be going over it in the comparison video with the Isotope. And guys, after just tuning that, now I sort of want to keep it. But that's kind of what happens with everything. That feeling will wear off in a little bit. It's just thumb studs, you know. That's my main gripe with this knife. If it had a hole for deployment, if it had a flipper and the thumb stud or something. And what tends to happen with me is, as a lefty, I don't know if it's my hand size or what, I go to do the flipper or the stud, and I think my finger right here holds the blade somehow. So I end up like not being able to deploy it all the way or whatever, and then I got to readjust. And then I almost feel insecure holding it. And then if I do the Spidey flick, usually I get it like that, but occasionally I'll like miss it or whatever. So I just think as a righty, you're probably going to have a much better time with this. Plus you can do that. Joe is going to absolutely love this knife if he ends up going through with that. I'm not going to just like hold him to it right now. Absolutely cool. I did notice this one little mark right there. I don't think I can get that off. It was like that when I got it. So it's just a little mark from factory. Doesn't bother me at all. Everything else is absolutely pristine. It's a cool knife. It really is. Ergos are really good on it. Fits in the hand fantastically. This jimping is basically non-existent, which is fine. The frog thumb studs and everything give you a good kind of traction point, a little ramp there. Bead blast on this blade looks really good. Kind of reminds me of an Arius. The Koenig Arius in some versions has this kind of a bead blast / stonewash. I don't know what they call it. But it's really cool. And then you have the just kind of like belt satin on the flats up there. There's no markings on this thing other than that James up here, right there, and then the little logo right here. I think that's freaking awesome. I think this touch under the clip was super important and super useful. It really helps it go in and out of the pocket without having these milling lines. Another knife company would have left it like micro milled or something, and I bet you it would be a pain in the ass and something that would bother me to no end. So the fact that they didn't do that is fantastic. I love the shape of this thing. Just look at it. It just doesn't look like every other knife. It just looks different. And I know part of that is the integral. I mean, it just looks so cool. I really am very happy with this knife. I am pretty blown away with James brand on this one. And I really hope that they take this and move in a solid direction from this. If they start coming out with Riot made designs, maybe let's not do integrals again, and maybe, you know, sell it for $350 or like $400 for a really well made Riot knife. I would pay that. I mean, this J-Cape is what, $375 or something in this configuration. So if this was $400, I mean, if another James brand was $400 and it wasn't an integral, I mean, I would absolutely pay that. I mean, this CKF made by Riot, constructed by CKF, $480 or so. And that Evo 2.0 was $630. Same deal on that. Manufactured by Riot, constructed by CKF. The Slim Midi I showed earlier, one of my favorite knives ever right now. This knife cost me $645. and it has S35BN and titanium scales. It's not an integral. And I paid that, and I'm happy with it. I love it. It's one of my favorite knives. So the pricing thing, people are really harping on that. It's more about the end product for me, and this thing is knocking it out of the park, especially if you like thumb studs. Like, if you really like this Chimera, I think you'd have a hard time not liking this one. So that's just where I'm at with this. I apologize if there's any issues with the camera work. It's the first time trying this. You know, if I shake, maybe everything shakes. I don't know. I'll work out the kinks as I go, but I think it's definitely an upgrade for me. If you can't tell, I'm just playing around with it a little bit here and enjoying it. So that is the James Brand Barnes first impressions and non-disassembly, because, well, we didn't have any luck there and I wasn't going to go to town with it. So it is what it is. Absolutely enjoying this knife. I think the hype, if there was hype, I guess there wasn't hype. It's almost like negative hype. Is not real. Shit, I don't know how to say that. I was gonna say the hype is real, but it doesn't work in that sense. The negative hype is unreal. It's fake. Fake news, guys. James Brand Barnes is really good. Get yourself one if you can. I love you guys. Appreciate you letting me basically just wander off into the woods there for 21 minutes and just ramble. So I hope you have a fantastic day. I love you all so much, and I will catch you later.